What? I'm so good!
He's now all in silence in a 1v4. He takes 2. Down goes both. Can he stay alive? He downs another 1v1 on the Kento, and he wins it!
Cut this round out for IF. He gets 2. That's the defeat. That's huge. Mikey, no, so
oh my!
On the drop. We're Subarctic is sprinting around desperately, and we're going to overtime.
It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1-1/2 for Surf.
Hello everyone and welcome back to SCS6. We are here with Playday number 3, just of our first week, but Connor, we have seen so much incredible action already. How you feeling about tonight's games?
You know, you don't get excited that often. I mean, that's a complete lie, but this feels like almost a special day. This feels like playoffs caliber level Siege, because each of the games, even though we're slightly delayed, are absolutely going to be wonderful. And even yesterday, as the beautiful gameplay graces your screen, that round was ridiculous. There was just a sledge standing next to a player that just killed the plant. That was wild. But today we have the runners, the returning champs, going up against a team that's new on the block, but still has some very recognizable favorites, as well as probably the 2 other remaining top underage teams. I guess even calling it feels weird to call Mystic an underage team, because like it's a weird, I don't know why they still scream underage in my head, but they are a CL team. That is the old two-face roster. But I feel like they still haven't come to full fruition yet in Challenger League, and they do have a very different identity from what we know.
Right, they're still a team with something to prove, right? And that's what's characterized a lot of these young teams, and it's kind of what still characterizes Mystic, even though, you know, they have fought in CL before. But as, of course, this gameplay from yesterday wraps up, it was a pretty, you know, quick day overall. 4 maps overall, 2-game series. And I know, first one, pretty exciting. One shot taking the win there, though. A pretty dominant, especially second map on Coastline. And then West Garfield falling at the hands of Karn & Co. A 2-map series there, making an impressive comeback as well on the second map of Clubhouse. So a couple of highlight plays yesterday for sure, especially some highlights on Coastline. That one shot delivered. But here we are, looking towards another day. And like you said, Connor, another exciting bit of teams. So let's talk about the teams we've got in front of us. Let's actually talk first about this group we've got in front of us overall. This is Group A. Dallas Vendetta and Achieve have already played their first game. Dallas Vendetta taking that win, putting Achieve down in that elimination game. So the winner of today's matchup between Wichita Wolves Academy and Judgment Day, the winner will go on to play Dallas Vendetta, and the loser will head to that elimination game against Achieve.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is for the side of Achieve Esport, that game was supposed to cost $0.00. That one was supposed to be free, but the old IF roster under the new banner of Dallas Vendetta, they came out swinging, and they look pretty dang good over the remaining teams coming in. Judgment Day, they had an impressive second qual, and I think we all know Wichita Wolves Academy Red, even if you don't know the team name, but you know all the players. They're coming in from Surf. You got Spiff, Ashen, Asian, Reed Sink, he's still there, and the underage warlord that we know as Ambi. They've been grinding. They've been chilling. They're here in the underage. They're the ones that wore the crown from last stage. And for now, they kind of have to make sure that rust kind of settles off. They weren't playing in the quals. And that second point, Jonah, I don't really want to say it because you wrote it, and I think you're going to have to be the one to suffer.
Connor, I was hoping you would read it. I was trying to write a cringy line for you. No. It's all right. It's all right. The second point, turn that scrim grind set into a game-winning mindset, baby. Love that right there. The point is, there have been rumors that Surf, well, now Wichita Wolves Academy have been tearing it up in scrims, taking down some big dogs. They've got to turn that into some actual gameplay, into some game day victories. That is what they're going to be hoping to do today. Again, this Wichita Wolves Academy roster, if you're not familiar with the name, this is the Surf roster that just won Stage 1 of SCS6. So don't be mistaken here. This is a very potent roster as well.
Good.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible. But let's take a look at the other side of things here. You've got Judgment Day. Now this here is your pug stack of Jolton, Bry, Arrow, Riot, and Loban here. A roster that yeah, it was put together pretty recently, and they kind of have been working their way through and struggling along, but they got through qualifiers and they've been feeling pretty good. New team on the block. That's exactly what they are, as it says in that critical point, and they're trying to take down the Kings. This is quite a rude awakening here to SCS6. They've got to take down our current champions. How will they handle that underage aggression? Always a question that we ask when you go up against one of these young teams, especially like Wichita Wolves Academy, who we know for a fact love to play aggressive, love to take the fight to you. Judgment Day, they've got to be careful.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, before you even type it in chat, yes, that is the Chilton from the Skittles video. That's the only thing he's ever done of note. And we do have the map bans ready, because when we're talking about these aggressive teams, these aggressive play styles, especially for the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, you have to bring them to areas where you can mitigate and you can contain that aggression. And for the side of Judgment Day, they're going to be going to Chalet first, and Wichita Wolves Academy going to Bang.
Whew.
It feels like the roles have been completely reversed with the map choices. We've seen the success of that Surf roster transitioning to Wichita Wolves Academy on that map of Chalet. Personally, I didn't get to catch a whole lot of quals too, but I saw some of the score lines. I saw some of the clips coming out of Judgment Day, and they're going to be firing on all cylinders. You still have Arrow, you still have Riot and Bry, who have proven themselves, in Loban, who's been running it up in the Brazilian scene, now finally coming over to NA. They're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, there's something about a #1 in pretty much every single stat for the side of Arrow. Don't know why he became a free agent, but
Well, I mean, what an incredible what an incredible map that we got gifted here. The map bans as a whole, we've got Chalet and Bank. Cannot believe that we've been gifted these two bangers. You can take a look at your predictions and actually see what we are dealing with here. Most of us, I'd say, actually, are we evenly split? We are evenly split. Judgment Day, Connor, you go with them, and I'm going with the Academy boys here.
yeah, I want to give a little bit more towards the experience and maybe a little bit of an upset to shake things up, have it be a lot more fun. But for the side of Judgment Day, I'm really excited to see what Loban is going to bring to the table, especially because Arrow, phenomenal player. Jolton, really good player. Brian Riot, they've been around the block. This team is not just a pug stack. And for the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, they still have had some pretty off games that we saw last season. Sure, they were the champions, but there were some games that you looked, especially actually on Chalet, was arguably the worst game that they've ever played early on in the group stage. Immediately after playing that map, every single one of them just went to Twitter and was like, I trolled. Please help me. That was the worst game I've ever played. And maybe we're going to see that today.
Yeah, you never know. Hopefully we'll be able to get into it in just a moment. And yeah, we are going to go into it right now. So we'll take a look at our operator bands in just a minute here and see exactly what kind of Chalet we're in for. We've seen this map, a fair bit of times. It's become a lot more common here in SCS, and it's good to see a lot of teams taking up this territory and maybe starting to avoid those qual maps that we talked so much about during the qualifiers with the cafes, the villa, the clubhouse, and the Oregons of the world. We do have, again, that clubhouse decider if we get that far, but starting off here on Chalet should be a good place to begin. But the first ban off the board on the attacking side, at least, is typically something of the Flores, something we've seen as of late, and so those Rotero drones will be taken off the board, and we won't be able to see their explosive power and their ability to just avoid all of those ADSs, those magnets, those Surya gates. We won't be able to see those in play, nor will we see the Thatcher, those two standard attacker bans that we see on almost every map these days.
Yeah, it means that both these teams are comfortable actually going through the motions of the normal attack, that they're gonna throw their flashbangs instead of just driving a drone and blowing up a shield. They're going to get that map control on the attacking side the old-fashioned way, and more so than anything, it's a gut check to a point of maybe for the side of Judgment Day, they don't think that Wichita Wolves Academy are structured enough to do so, which might be a good read, maybe not, but those boys have been playing together for a while, so hopefully they know how to break down a pretty basic defensive setup of utility, especially because I don't think we're going to see any mind-shattering, insane strats going on the side of Judgment Day, because they haven't been a team for that long.
Right. I mean, we got to see how this team really, we obviously saw them in the qualifiers, and that's how they got through to this point. But yeah, we've got to see how they form this team identity. Are they going to be an aggressive team? Are they, going to mirror the strategies of something like we might see from Wichita Wolves Academy? Or are they going to play more strat focused, right? A little bit more coordinated, something that We're going to have to wait a couple minutes to actually find out. We'll dive here into round number 1 and hopefully get some clarity, especially because Judgment Day, they will be starting off on the attacking side, right? So we'll get a pretty good idea of how quickly they want to kick off their SCS debut. Now, Loban will be bringing out the Finka, so potentially we might see a bit of that aggression, but interestingly enough, we've got the Zero coming out here from Judgment Day as well. Not too surprising to see Arrow on that role. It is an operator I believe we have seen him play time and time again, but just seeing him here on Chalet is not the most common of operators at all.
Yeah, could help for the transitionary period if it, you know, gets to that point
5 seconds to go.
that you need a lot of intel. Make sure that the Zero on the backside.
Attackers objective
No
is to
flanking
defuse the
happens.
bomb.
No shenanigans. You can really contain the Wichita Wolves Academy defense. And everything else is pretty bog standard. You have enough utility, you have enough gone shots, you have enough nades. And heck, 4 nades. Always going to be strong enough to destroy anything that the Wichita Wolves Academy are throwing over, especially towards that back blue side. The Master Extension, it's fully out. And for Judgment Day, doesn't necessarily seem like they're pushing super fast. This might be one of those nice contained direct takes on the library side where you can do it if you do full due diligence. You make sure everything is cut and you can still burn, really mitigate any vertical pressure or nitros that the defenders could be going for. And with what, 2 shields on the top side over towards the library bend, it might actually be a good call.
Yeah, right now, though, they are taking their time, like you said. They aren't rushing this whatsoever. We haven't seen very much utility actually enter in the building just yet. Riot, after all, still has those 2 frag grenades in hand. Loban has 2 of those in pocket as well. But unfortunately for the Habana, Jolton, not the nades, because he didn't have any of those of the Habana, but those X-Kairos pellets, we are not going to see those actually emerge from his pocket, falling early at the hands of Ashen. Good start for this defense. And now Judgment Day are going to have to figure out a way to bring this back. But look at this setup right now, especially from Loban. He is just sitting bottom blue, poised and ready for a potential, you know, an aggressive push straight into games. But in order to do that, you've got to prepare a little bit from above. Riot will get things started. A good headshot onto Ashen, trading off the player who found that initial kill, but Ambi is still in the mix and is taking down Bry.
Yeah, Loban's still here on the cutoff, but he's going to get cut off himself. As soon as he stopped worrying about the top, that's where it struck Arrow. He's going to make sure that the hemorrhaging and the bleeding of this attack isn't fully done, but he's in a 1v3 situation with no diffuser control. Everybody on the side of Judgment Day, they died. And Wichita Wolves Academy are slowly making their way back to site. Potential retake could come out, but that's what the SAM cams are here for. Make sure that they have all the intel possible, and Ambi all the way down in the basement will be playing blue, read sync inside of stock to drop. Make sure that the hatch drop doesn't come out, and the long horizontal angle from Asian is now being yellow pinged out. They have an idea that he's over here towards kitchen and dining, but Jonah, do you think he's still going to come out on top?
Nah.
Yeah. Yes.
Didn't feel like it. Really, I mean, not very winnable situation, especially when you knowingly are walking into what is probably about to be a crossfire in a few seconds once they identify your position. And, you know, just like Judgment Day had a bit of intel to work with, like you said, Connor, Wichita Wolves Academy had a plethora of intel at their fingertips as well. So that was not a difficult fight for that last defender to take, and not a difficult round for them to take as a whole. Good start from them. Again, that means it started with the opening pick. Judgment Day, they're already, you know, somewhat lackadaisical pace, only, you know, got a bit more lackadaisical, got lazier as the round progressed, as they lost that opening player. I do like their intent of maybe throwing, you know, Lobbin downstairs. Maybe he had a chance to go for an aggressive play and make some maneuver happen, but again, that was shut down. Maybe Wichita Wolves weren't aware of it initially, but he just wasn't in the right place at the right time. Losing a couple of players up above resulted in, you know, Loban losing his life. And again, that fight going the way of Wichita Wolves Academy. So great start. I mean, round number 1, taking bar in games. Good defensive start for them.
Yeah, just overall trying to avoid utility for the side of Judgment Day. That typically is a feat that can only really work if you're going to win all the gunfights. And against Wichita Wolves Academy, that is the furthest thing from a given that you could possibly say inside of Siege. Every single one of these players has such great levels of mechanical skill aggression, speed, violence, momentum, the whole 9 yards. They're going to be swinging you at Mach 10. They eat, breathe, and live this game. The reason that we're delayed was not because they couldn't play. It's because they were in high school and weren't out of classes yet. And so they came home and immediately hopped on because this is their favorite thing to do in the entire world. Take down CL players.
That's what they're looking to do here tonight. I mean, right out of school, right into the grind set, like I said. Yeah, maybe. Looking good so far. I mean, again, that's just one round. So they'll be looking to continue that here in round 2. So Ashton has taken a little bit of damage. I'm not sure if that is was team damage during the site setup or just a bullet or two found him as some barricades were sprayed on open. But either way, Ashton will position downstairs in trophy, waiting for Judgment Day to make the first move. Now, most likely, Judgment Day will be looking to speed things up just a little bit as well. They're probably going to try to keep Jolton a little bit safer than last time because we couldn't see that hard breach come into play in that first round because he, again, was that opening pick. This time, already we can see those X-Kairos detonating over on this master side in Judgment Day's effort to take control of this top floor. An essential component, as always, of a kitchen and dining take is it seizing or at least maintaining some bit of control on that top floor. You don't actually necessarily have to clear out the whole thing. At the very least, you got to clear out office. You got to clear out Ambi. If you want to get any attack going towards the dining side, Ambi is going to be your priority.
Yeah, making sure that his impact is mitigated should be very high on the old docket of removing on the side of the Wichita Wolves Academy defense. Asian is also in a pretty decent position and could start pushing, getting aggressive. There's a pre-placed nitro as well, right in the middle of the floor. And as soon as Riot, sure, he might bench 225, but I don't think he can take a nitro cell. And Loban can't take a bullet to the head. The quick refrag comes out of Bry's LMG as he's actually going to tag on for 2. All of a sudden, the vertical pressure on the side of the defense, that extension up top, it's been removed quite swiftly.
Yeah, you can see Jolton now looking to turn his attention downstairs and shift what is now vertical control into a horizontal push. The one thing they will have to be careful of, though, is a little bit of a flank here. You've got Spiff, the Jaeger, creeping up the blue stairs, now creeping his way towards Piano, looking to take a gunfight, but it does appear there's someone on the flank. Watch Bry. He'll get fried anyway, and even 3v3 now in Judgment Day, they may be in a little bit of a pickle. They now have to make a decision. Do they clear out the player above, or do they get aggressive and go for the site? I think we've got our answer. Arrow, he'll push into the site. Jolton to follow, and they both get fried. It's all up to Riot now, who deals with Ashen, but now has to deal with Reed and Spiff, who are not sitting together. He's going to have to take 2 separate gunfights, and, well, he's going to have to find these frags. So go for the swing, and Spiff will win it out. And Spiff, the man of the hour, the man who won the round, a very well-timed, well-calculated top-floor flank, taking down that attack despite the early momentum they gained.
Yeah, all the intel was there for the side of the attack, and it seemed like it was definitely going to go their way. But then playmaking happened. A beautiful pre-fire coming out of the Jaeger on that flank. Mr. Spiff, he doesn't whiff. And neither did Ashen, swinging over towards Trophy, over towards Split. Those gunfights, sure, you can have all the top floor control in the world. But the transitionary period, that's where Wichita Wolves like to strike on their defense. As soon as you start feeling a little bit comfortable, they want to change that. And on a map such as Chalet, that's what you have to do on defenses. You have to get your gun up. You got to get active. You cannot let the attacks do what they want to do because they'll just roll you over. That's why we say it's an attacker-sided map, Jonah.
Yeah. So many options for the attack and how they approach, right? They have so many opportunities and different avenues to approach the site. But just like you said, if you leave those flanks open, if you don't cover the avenues that you yourself just entered through, look what happens. Look who creeps up behind, and look who can just dismantle the round that you have worked so hard to secure that advantage in. Well played from Spiff. Now shifting from the Jaeger to the role of the Castle. Definitely a bit of a 180 there. But as the entire team shifts all the way to the basement site, definitely a 180 in terms of overall objective play as well. Definitely a big shift in the way that Wichita Wolves Academy are going to have to play this one. Like that, middle floor site, like kitchen and dining, it does depend on a vertical extension. This basement site doesn't necessarily depend on any extension per se. It depends heavily on a roam. These defenders need to delay as much time as possible, need to just be as much of a nuisance as possible to delay this Judgment Day attack. And right now, I mean, you can see this very plan in action. You've got Ambi, Ashen, and Asian, the AAA combo all over this map, looking to find some frags, looking to run out and get aggressive, and somehow Lobin misses that final bullet he needed to take down Asian. So despite being cut down to low HP, the Vigil is still up and a danger.
Yeah, and he can be just as aggressive as he wants because that's Asian. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He will still be swinging things even if he's only 1 HP. He's slowly baiting out shots and making Lobin feel incredibly uncomfortable, combined with, I believe it was Ashen over towards Bathroom that was slowly aggressing. They're just poking and prodding and slowly making this attack stall out. Mr. Jolton, I almost said his full name, and I don't want to give him that respect. I'm not saying man, kiss, or jolt every time he swings into a window. He's starting to apply that horizontal pressure, and there's already been a minute kind of wasted. A lot of roamers on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy still up. Mainly all of them except Asian, who's returned to site. Spiff on the castle, Ambi on the alibi, as well as Ashen. They're just staying alive. They're wasting time. They're making it so Judgment Day don't feel comfortable pushing in anywhere.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job of doing so. I mean, the time is ticking away in Judgment Day. They are still not in a position quite yet to make the execute that they're trying to set up. The first kill is going to be found, but this one, again, it is not going the way of Judgment Day on these opening picks. It is going to be the first death towards Bry. No more Zofia. Now you're in a 4v5, and Lobin is upstairs. He looked for one player, but that very player, Ashen, will take his head. Arrow, in the meantime, did find a kill back, shutting down the alibi of Ambi, but Judgment Day are still on the back foot here, and they need to get something going. They only have 45 seconds to work with. They haven't forced out a couple of these key positions that Wichita Wolves Academy are now maintaining. Riot and Jolton are going to try to spread the love on this site, try to get some sort of crossfire going, but Arrow still needs to join them. The 30-second mark now coming and going, and Riot, well, he's going to seize the opportunity to push in. A good nade, but he'll get down for his troubles. Now Arrow pushing in an attempt to recover, finds himself in a crossfire. Ashen finishes it off, and Spiff with the final kill will give the round to Wichita Wolves Academy. That is 3 in a row on the defense.
Yeah, it does not seem like we are getting the Wichita Wolves Academy that trolls on Chalet. This is the Wichita Wolves Academy whose roams are coming out strong, and even more than anything, their defenses and the anchoring has been pretty dang good. For the side of Judgment Day, they're just stalling hard. They don't have the experience to know that, hey, there's a whole bunch of people roaming. We should probably try to adapt the attack. They don't have the team synergy to really be aquatic and flow on this side, as opposed to Wichita Wolves Academy, or probably the most aquatic team here at SCS.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
Yeah, they are.
defused
I
by
mean,
attackers.
they are proving so far that every little thing that Judgment Day have thrown at them, someone on the Academy side of things has, been able to, be mobile, be fluid, work around that, and make some pretty successful adjustments, mind you. That is, 3 very clean defensive rounds in a row. And there have been points, and I think it was round number 2, where we saw Judgment Day hold that momentary advantage. Wichita Wolves forced to fight that one from a 3v4, but they still made it happen from a great play from Spiff, who, had 3 kills coming into that 3rd round, added 2 more to his tally, so he'll join Ashen with 5 kills each. After the flawless rotation, though, Judgment Day, they know they've got to change something up, Connor, and one pretty big change is going to come in the form of the Nook coming out from Arrow. Always a surprise to see her in the mix, but hey, you've got 2 frag grenades, and that's a lot of utility, no matter who is actually holding those nades.
Yeah, more nades means that if somebody dies early, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. And for Arrow, having him be a little bit looser is also stronger. And sure, he hasn't been doing that great on the 0 for cutting the flank. The flank has been watched, but just because somebody's there doesn't mean you're always going to win the gunfight. And that's what Judgment Day's really been figuring out. The nade has missed the Malusi Banshee, and that is incredibly unfortunate because the quick swing could have came out over and pre-fired the position of Asian towards Kitchen, but instead is going to have to be slow unless another nade gets allocated. That's all of Arrow's secondary utility. Its primary utilities, Jonah, it's not the best in the world.
No. No, it's not.
And the gun is not the best on the attack.
Right, I mean, it's a nice defensive weapon, and we've seen people use it before on the smoke, but I mean, already we are seeing a lot of shenanigans in this round. Loban, he'll line 2 up, a double kill as he just kind of walks in, downs Spiff in the process, and I don't think the play from Arrow did a ton, but regardless, Loban picks up the slack, gets 3, and forces Reed and Asian now to fight for themselves on the site. Reed gets 1. In typical Reed fashion, the guy cannot be killed when he's defending the site. But in typical Asian fashion, I suppose, without a care in the world, he'll be leaving his teammate out to dry and going for another god-tier flank. It's going to work. That's a double kill for him on the round. And now it's a 2v2. Just like that, we are back to square one for this attack. And Loban, he's desperate to make something happen. Reed's going to see him on the wide swing, but didn't actually process the fact that he saw the Finka swinging. And so now it's Asian up above to fight this one in a 1v2. They know exactly where he's coming from. Riot will spot him out on that drone. So Loban will now reposition and get the bomb on the deck. Playing this one smart, but Asian doesn't care. A triple kill and a beautiful kill onto Riot, who was staring right at him and knew his exact position. But now it's a 1v1, and Asian has more than a fighting chance here. Loban looks like he'll go for the upstairs retake. He's got another Finka boost to work with as well. So a lot of HP for the already weak Asian to contend with, especially on a vertical angle. Not an easy fight to take, even at even HP. He'll tease the diffuser here. Loban will spot out the feet, and a quick pre-fire will get the job done for the Finka. That is a fantastic quad kill and a really well-played round from Loban. And there you go, Judgment Day. They'll take their first.
Yeah, very well could have been an ace for the Finka, but the timing wasn't quite there on that pinch swing, and it ended up going into the favor of Riot instead. A wonderful round from the side of Judgment Day. If you want to say that a hero play is what they're going for, that round was still incredibly winnable on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, but Loban just played that post plant absolutely masterfully. I mean, he was properly reading into the rotation of Asian. As soon as he kind of started pushing in the bomb site, that's where he peeled off. It was like a game of cat and mouse, and the cat was the one running away for some reason just to get a better angle to take the fight. Usually doesn't happen in nature, but here at Siege, that is sometimes the name of the game, especially in a post-plan position.
Well, interestingly enough here, Connor, we are going to see Master in Office for the first time. Despite having the opportunity to go either back to bar and games or down to kitchen and dining, we are going to see Wichita Wolves Academy opt for the top floor bomb site here for the very first time. Master and Office coming out. Now, we have seen this floor in play a lot, especially on the kitchen and dining site. We did see Judgment Day clear out that top floor, and Wichita Wolves Academy put a bit of an extension towards this top floor. But now we'll actually see the round live and die on this top floor. The objective being the sole focus. Arrow will smartly return to the zero, given that the Nook play didn't work out so well. Still not sure how I feel about the zero overall, but I do like it better than the Nook.
Yes, I like it a lot better than a Nook, because the Nook didn't work at all. He just died to Asian immediately. I guess the one solace would be probably even on the knock, he would have been fulfilling that role of the flank watch. He would have been cycling cams and stuff like that, and Arrow's comms are pretty good. So, and I guess if that were the case, then Asian wouldn't have been able to just walk all the way through Master and kill somebody and then run away. But yeah, Judgment Day, they got the last laugh for that round, and we're on to the next one. Another solar take is on the docket for Judgment Day. They like these directs. They don't like going into the full clears on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy's defense. Instead, they just like to take just enough map control. And on Master, it's not a whole lot if you do a solar take. You can just get that wall open. As long as you have bathroom window pressure and trophy control, you can go for a plant. And what we're seeing now is Arrow cutting this lane, cutting the swing up to the back solar stairs. And Reedsink's going to be challenging it. Even with a UMP, he's going to win that gunfight. Seemed like Arrow was on a bit of a mental delay.
Yeah, not a gunfight that Arrow is allowed to lose, but he'll lose it anyway. And
Especially
Reed will not
with the
even
body
take
shots.
Did he? Yeah, no, I mean, there's no Thunderbird in play. Reed did not get tagged once, which is shocking. In any case, that means Reed is now free to move around a little bit more on this first floor. So Riot will now assume that position that Arrow just died in, so that someone is cutting off the rotation from the castle and the pressure from below. But Spiff gets aggressive on the bathroom window. Reed will join him and take down Riot as well. Ashen steps up, the Kaid swinging and taking down Jolton. And wow. There are a lot of gunfights there that I am confident Judgment Day wants back. The aggression that we really haven't seen from Wichita Wolves Academy has finally come out in round number 5, and boy, has it worked. Spiff will make sure to get himself a double kill after the very aggressive play on the bathroom window earlier. I think he heard Loban cooking that grenade and said, you know what? It's my time to swing. Whipped out the SMG-11, took that kill, and from there, it was Wichita Wolves Academy who lit up the scoreboard and just dominated the rest of that round.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with a direct take, once again, is that you aren't really making Wichita Wolves Academy think that much. They're thinking in their heads, hey, they're gonna be on the solar windows, they're gonna be on bathroom window, and they're gonna be on trophy window. We can just pre-fire those areas. We can focus all of our efforts and all of our guns on 3 areas and just swing it aggressively, and more often than not, they're going to come out on top with that gunfight because they're very, very skilled players. They shoot real good. And now we saw probably the most difficult round of attack for the side of Judgment Day was this basement bomb site come up once again, Joe.
Yeah, heading back here is, good to see, because now I guess this attack has the chance to remedy whatever issues they were having last time with that roam clear and with that site push. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but Connor, I just cannot get it out of my head how Reed was able to win as the castle, how he was able to win 2 gunfights down below onto trophy.
He should not have been allowed to win. I don't know if Arrow was looking at his other monitor when he swung and just got hit with timing. Maybe he's looking up the strat. I don't know.
If this were another game, I'd say, oh, maybe he's looking at the mini map. But no, there's no mini map in Siege, man.
No, he was. No. I don't know what he was doing. His crosshair was on his head, and he goes, you know what? I'm gonna give poor Reed a chance to reevaluate his actions.
And then, I'm gonna let him kills Riot.
Yeah.
He gets another kill. Riot, who also went to that position. I mean, ridiculous. But I mean, back to the round we're on currently here. And you know what? This one is off to a much better start for Judgment Day. I believe Ashen was going for another aggressive spawn peek, and he'll get downed. Fry will now drone him out and likely push in to get that trade or get that finish. But Asian, he actually sticks this, and they let it happen. He pops up and takes down Loban. He wants another. There's a player at the bathroom window, so he wasn't able to complete the res, but he was able to find 1 kill. That is more than enough, essentially baiting his down teammate, but baiting it to perfection. Now Bry just desperate to find this kill. Ashen slowly bleeding out. Bry, he'll turn away at the wrong moment. Now he'll step in, and Asian gets a second one. Are you kidding me? Loban finally gets credited with the kill onto Ashen, but what a way to bait your down teammate. I have never seen a bait like that work this well in a comp setting.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. And trading both entries, Bry and Loban, for Ashen, who you kind of assumed was going to be dead on the roam anyways, is a wonderful start for Wichita Wolves Academy, even though Judgment Day technically struck first. Asian definitely struck a lot harder. You're going to have all of the supports. Not a whole lot of utility to destroy anything, but for utility-wise, in the bomb site, not really too complex on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy. But if you saw the outline, Asian's still all the way upstairs. He is still upstairs, alive and kicking, shooting drones, applying pressure, striking and instilling fear to the poor Judgment Day attackers that know he's on a rampage. He's still coming for him.
Arrow trying to apply some pressure from above, but Asian trying to remedy that as soon as possible. He's on a heater this round, but he will get taken down himself. Not before Reed got a kill down below onto Jolton. I mean, Asian hasn't quite been finished off. There it is, the final fatal blow being dealt, but Judgment Day still in this disadvantage thanks to a nice shot from Reed on that TCSG. He'll be looking for another, and there it is. Riot swings that with a nade in hand, I believe, and he'll get quickly taken down by Reed. And so it's going to be up to Arrow. He'll drop the hatch. That's going to be heard very clearly. And Reed, with the TCSG, will find 3 separate kills on the round. An incredible performance in round 5. Matches it with round 6. I mean, this is serious dominance coming out from the Wichita Wolves Academy. That is a brilliant 5-1 defensive half on Chalet. Not something we say very often, Connor. So Judgment Day, they have a lot of ground to make up here. And this is their own map pick, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take a phrase that you don't normally say for 500, Jonah. And that would be 5-1 defensive split for Chalet. It is not looking good for Judgment Day by any metric. The one round that they have won was a 4K hero play from Loban, putting the team on his back. And those kind of things are not easily replicated. For the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, they just had the hard side. They just went up the hill, and now they can potentially just cruise down to the bottom of this game. Because on the attack, they just kind of have to win some gunfights, and they've already been proving that they've been doing that. First on the docket, it's Bar Games. Assuming that we're going to see a full Master over clear. Just burn a little bit of utility and destroy that one shield that Judgment Day are bringing. Probably allocated over towards the top of the blue stairs, protected by some ADSs and my gadgets. Not necessarily the hardest thing in the world to clear, especially if Twitch is on the board. Ashen bringing those bringing the shock drones could just zap a whole lot of utility. And Jolton, who has yet to find a kill in SCS, by the way, is bringing the Yokais for additional intel. Could come into play if the clock goes all the way down to that wonderful 000 mark, but with how Wichita Wolves Academy are moving, how they've been confident, how fast they're moving on their defenses and roaming all over the place and taking gunfights, I don't really see that being the case.
Well, Wichita Wolves Academy, they will be starting this one off pretty straightforward, not only in terms of, the strat that we're seeing, but in terms of the actual path they are taking to this bomb site. Very direct. They're going straight into library already, sending down this utility, trying to force out Loban, force out these players protecting this library swing. Looks like Loban himself will actually swing in and look to take a gunfight. But again, all of these nades being successfully burned. That's both of Asian's nades, which weren't even allowed to detonate. Spiff has 2 more in pocket, but it's Loban who gets that first blow. That one onto Ashen, trying to peek him, trying to catch Loban from the off angle, trying to swing the other window, and Ashen will get punished for it. So Loban's still alive here. Now, Wichita Wolves, they are the ones forced to reevaluate. They've lost a man, something they haven't had to deal with very much. Haven't had to deal with a disadvantage like this. And so the little pivot that they're going to bring in here is going to be Ambi working his way in from office. Spiff will get the kill onto Arrow just as Ambi begins to challenge here onto Bry, trying to assist the Wamai on this top floor hold. And Bry will back off, playing this one safely, but Ambi still does not have the control that he wants.
Yeah, they need to start pushing in a little bit faster, but with the control downstairs that they have, they could provide a pretty interesting middle push that could be caught off guard, but not caught off guard by Loban, who's just going to walk straight down and punish that Z play. Interesting positioning from Asian to pop that in an area that was not very safe. And no man advantage on the attack, but they still potentially could make something happen. Ryan Loban, they're upstairs. Jolton is still inside of stock, and he's kind of the only anchor unless you want to count Riot. He's making his way slowly down the stairs, and we just saw Loban. He's inside of the main lobby. He's actually going to tag on for Ambi. Down goes the Lion. It's just Reed and Spiff, who have been doing quite well for themselves this game. But they're going to have to go absolutely crazy, especially when Loban's just absolutely on a heater. Reed takes down Jolton. Down goes your Echo. And this Wamai is hungry, going for the ace, but Riot's going to steal it out anyways, just like last time. Keep him out of 4K.
I mean, unbelievable play from Loban. There is no doubt about that. But really, the round, I mean, it wasn't lost before the quad kill was found, but it really felt the entire time like Wichita Wolves Academy, they were struggling. They really were. To clear out the top floor, I mean, that was problem number 1. It was Loban who was sitting, on that single panel wall, just, hoping to deny the utility as it came in, applying enough pressure to shut down this Wichita Wolves force as they work their way into library. But he was able to do that. The utility game from the defense, impeccable, and the clear from Wichita Wolves Academy, a little bit lackluster. They failed to clear out the utility they needed. That meant they couldn't clear out Loban. And instead of fully committing to another approach, we saw some kind of half-hearted attempts at changing it up, right? Instead of rotating everyone over to that master side and working their way in across the top floor, I mean, it was just Ambi who went by himself and had a tough time pushing through two different players. You had Ashen rotate over to another window to try to challenge, and what was he able to do? Nothing. He was alone. Loban found the kill, and there was no trade. There was nobody else jumping into library right off of that kill to support that. Maybe a little bit disjointed, maybe just a lack of a cohesive plan once their first attempt at the direct library clear was successfully foiled by the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess even foiled just by Loban. He kind of did a world tour there. He was running all over the place. He was inside a main lobby. He went over towards Master. He was over towards the mezzanine. Eventually ran back into the bomb site. But for the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, they do have a massive lead. That's not something you really want to take solace in if somebody like Loban's going to continue to pick up some momentum. Riot, he's just starting to get involved once again as well. It's kind of all up to Arrow, Brian, Jolton to kind of lighten the load. For the side of Wichita Wolves, everybody but Ambi is shooting right now, and on flank watch and support, you don't really need to be doing so. Spiff, already inside of stock, gets cut down by Loban. Interesting plays as they're going to drone and confirm the location of this Mozzie who's on the roam, just running around. Doesn't have a whole lot of HP to his name, so he's going to fall all the way to the basement. Probably come up west main stairs and rejoin the site.
Well, it seems that we're getting a pretty good idea of the adjustments that Judgment Day are making as they go into this defensive half. After the success in that first round, they said, you know what, Loban, why don't you just run around the map like a madman and get a bunch of kills? Now, he only got one kill, right? It's not like he collected 3 and absolutely decimated the entire attack, but that was an aggressive move that should have absolutely been shut down by the Wichita Wolves Academy side of things, and they just have not quite gotten Loban under their grasp just yet. So losing that first player, that's a problem, especially because it's your Sledge, the one generally responsible for applying all of that vertical pressure. But the good thing is for them, they were successfully able to get both of those exothermic charges detonated in exactly the spot that they'd hoped. One upstairs on the office wall, one downstairs on that dining wall. Technically, they have all the coverage they need to prevent the vertical play from being utilized by the defense. They just can't use it themselves because the lack of that breaching hammer on the Sledge. But now they've got to think looking towards that execute, right? They've got the breach open. They've got Reed with the case ready to push in, and now they've got to kill onto Loban to equalize. The one worry, though, and a massive worry, is going to be Arrow sitting down below with a C4 in hand.
Yeah, they have just a one singular Toxic Babe canister for the plant denial, but that'll kill about 15 seconds, and then it'll be up to hopefully Arrow's Nitro. As soon as he hears that case open, it's going to go up the hatch, and unless somebody on Wichita Wolves Academy has really been hitting the aim labs and is going to hit that C4 art, it's probably not going to allow the plant to go down. Then there's that moment of chaos that right now might potentially be going out. Here comes the Nitro. Down goes... They shot it. They shot it, but in the meantime, Jolton, he's going to go down. And it's all the coverage from these deep angles. It's an even 3v3, but the attack, they're going to keep on striking.
Wow.
Everybody lines up for Asian and Ashen. And I guess I answered my question of if they were hitting those C4 arcs, because I was waiting for the explosion and it never came. But then Jolton still shot him? Yeah?
Yeah, so that last flurry of engagement is definitely a little bit confusing there. I mean, we saw the C4
shot the
go
C4, but Jolton swung, killed the planter, got refragged.
Yeah.
So I guess the planter died regardless, but then it wasn't the Nitro that we kind of expected.
I swear it looked like that Nitro almost landed right next to him. It looked like maybe he waited a couple seconds longer to detonate the C4 than we would have normally seen. It was a great throw. It looked like it was arcing right onto the head of the planter, but like you said, somebody was clearly hitting the aim labs, because that is a round for Wichita Wolves Academy that they should not have won. It was Judgment Day in the perfect position, forcing Wichita Wolves to wait until the last 10 seconds to get that execute going. You kill one of the planters, you expect that it is a round one for the defense. But, you know, a combination of elements there that kind of went wrong. Somebody from Judgment Day stuck all the way in West Main, a little bit too far out to actually provide the coverage and actually provide the plant denial. And from there, I mean, we just saw, I think it was it Asian who just pre-fired that angle just constantly, and two people swung him and they both died. I mean, it was textbook in that plant, and really good coverage from Wichita Wolves Academy. Just that part was textbook. The rest of the attacking round left a little bit to be desired, especially losing Spiff early to such a chaotic, just sprinting play by
that
Logan.
was like, I was like, wow. He is already inside his stock, like in a corner. That's kind of like a flipped gunfight that you'd expect to, like,
Exactly.
the attacker to take. He would be the one swinging stock, killing somebody in a corner. But no, it was reverse roles. Logan came out on top. But at the end of the day, you can have all the first picks on the roam that you want if the trades are good, and more importantly, the map control that Wichita Wolves Academy were able to deny from that very minimal lobby take. It was good. As their win condition was getting the plant down, but it never even really came to it because everybody lining up, having to swing. The denial of the nitro was absolutely massive.
Ooh, great kill from Arrow there. I'm not... Spiff, was he the player swinging from the balcony there? He'll get taken down, but Asian, wow, he just doesn't seem to mind. No, it wasn't the balcony player who got shut down. Spiff, unclear where he died, but that'll be 2 rounds in a row where he is that entry death. But this time, instead of waiting until the plant to actually remedy those
he
issues...
was up top and he shot him to the floor.
Very nice. Good shot there, no doubt. But like I was saying, I mean, instead of waiting until the last few seconds to bring the man advantage back to even, Asian will step up instantly, finding his 11th kill, by the way, and having taken down both Bry and Loban in pretty much one fell swoop. So a very, very good adjustment there to get those kills back. And it is once again the same story, Connor, that we've seen a lot. It is Judgment Day on the back foot in a 3v4.
Yeah, and the only ball denial is that singular electro claw that Arrow has. No mute on the board, and a pre-fire could just land the mute himself. Pardon me, that's the smoke of Jolton now falling to 1-9. Not having a good introduction to the underage league. Welcome to T3, Jolton. You're gonna have to speed things up. The nade is gonna remove that electro claw and allow Reed to open up that breach. Makes Pillar not very fun to play. The only area that is safe is gonna be behind that shield if the angles are played correctly. The rest of the map control, it's definitely into the side of the Wichita Wolves Academy. Somebody needs to go massive for Judgment Day, or else their own name is going to come to them quite quickly.
All right, you can see him scrambling around. He wants this kill, but he'll just walk into the waiting arms of Asian. Now it's up to Arrow, and Reed is more than happy to claim that final kill. A very clean map on Chalet here for Wichita Wolves Academy. That is a beautiful, beautiful start to their stage. 7-2 over Judgment Day here on map 1. This is Judgment Day's map pick, and they will lose it right off the bat. I mean, like you said, Connor, Jolton, tough performance for him in his first game of SCS6, but you got to remember that, I mean, you said it was a rude awakening, and I mean, coming into this game, we knew it would be. Wichita Wolves Academy, they are your current champions of SCS. There is no surprise why they are as refined and as talented as we've seen them here on Chalet. But we talked about the rust, the potential rust coming in, Connor, and we saw none of that. They shook it off instantly, came out of the gates really swinging good.
Yeah, they came out swinging real good, and I don't know if it's just coming straight from school, has yet leveled up, or if it's the Mike and Ike that they were just busting out, because their game, it wasn't down here, it was taken all the way to the next level. Could have just popped a couple of the delicious fruity and chewy Mike and Ike's, or even the Mega Mix, and even the Mega Mix Sour. Whole lot of flavors. Whole lot of flavors, Joe.
Oh yeah, big fan of Mike and Ike's. Of course, one of our amazing sponsors here at SCS. Yeah, their candy game, clearly on the next level, which is exactly what Mike and Ike allows you to do. But we've got our second map of the night coming up, our second map in this series, which is going to be Bank. I expect it to be, hopefully, just as exciting as our first map. But before we get there, we are going to take a quick break, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
aggressive. Reed's looking for it, and he'll get it.
Have to push for the kill. You have to kill them Maluski.
Transfers on 1-3. What action! It's high noon. There's the 1v2. It's 5-1 for CERN.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Have to get aggressive. Reed's looking for it, and he'll get it.
Have to push for the kill. You have to kill them Maluski.
Transfers on 1-3. What action! It's high noon. There's the 1v2. It's 5-1 for CERN.
Quite a performance from Wichita Wolves Academy in Map 1. There is no question about it. A 7-2 victory on Chalet. That is quite a place, quite a way to start off Stage 2 of SCS. Connor, Judgment Day, they've got a lot of ground to make up, especially now going to Bank. Unexplored territory, typically for a pug stack, and especially on their opponent's map pick, an intimidating force, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was their gamble of taking the defensive side first. It paid off because, like you just said, that's Judgment Day's map choice. And the first 6 rounds were played on the defense, and 5 of them went into the favor of the Wichita Wolves Academy, who did not skip a beat. We were saying, oh, are they going to be rusty? They haven't really played a game day in a while. They weren't going in quals. There's been a little bit of a break. They kind of fizzled out early in the standalone tournament. They just came out and were swinging regardless. They were hitting amazing shots, kind of only rivaled by Loban. There wasn't really an answer on anybody else, from anybody else on the side of Judgment Day.
Yeah, and it was a little surprising to see. At least I was surprised, Connor. I mean, Judgment Day, this is a team with a lot of pretty big names. We expect, someone like Riot Arrow, Jolton as well. I mean, they got to be stepping up and finding some kills. But as you can see there at the bottom of your screen, they were not. Jolton with a 0.27 rating, 1-9 on the map. Not a great start in SCS for him, but you look at the other side of things, you look at Wichita Wolves Academy, and you see Reed at the top, just putting up numbers, 1.66 rating, fantastic KD. You look at Asian on the entry, putting up solid numbers there as well. Those entry numbers rivaled by Loban, who also, was +1 on the entry, had those 3 entry kills, but overall, it was Wichita Wolves' dominance. You can see it in the stats. You saw it on the scoreboard during the game. Wasn't a lot of objective play. We can only see, 1 plant each team. And that's exactly the kind of territory, the exactly kind of game where Wichita Wolves flourish.
Yeah, when the game is simple and you allow them to simplify the game, you're probably not going to win it. You have to set up some sort of mini games and make things really unfun for them to attack. as well as on their defense, you have to find a way to mitigate their roam presence, which was definitely the bane of existence for the Judgment Day attackers. Seems like the full court press was in full effect. They could not enter in a single area comfortably. And after trade games, the duo roams, the aggressive plays from Asian, Ashen, whoever was on the roam, it was typically a couple of roamers running back down to site with the man advantage for their half.
Well, as we head into bank here, we have to kind of figure out what exactly Judgment Day need to do, what they have to change up to get a better grasp on their opponents here. They've had one map in SCS to figure out what the heck is going on, right? We said you've got to find a way to deal with this underage aggression. That's kind of what we call it here. Wichita Wolves are pretty aggressive, definitely. They weren't insanely aggressive by any means, though.
No,
they were
weren't
just playing
jumping
their
out
game
every round. They jumped out
Exactly.
like once. That was
exactly
a very questionable jump out, but
it worked, right? And it was more calculated rather than just antics. It was all very, very well played from them. Now Judgment Day with, one map of, okay, identifying their opponents under their belt. Maybe they can head into bank with a little bit more confidence and have a better idea of the type of opponents they're going up against and exactly how to deal with them. Obviously, it's just speculation at this point because they've got to do it. I mean, if they don't want to head down to that elimination game right off the bat against Achieve, they have to find a way to bounce back. This is, again, Wichita Wolf Academy's map pick, so likely they're going to be prepared for bank, and a pug stack likely not to have the most developed bank strats of all time.
yeah, I think the most scary thing is, once again, bank is attacker sided, but you take Chalet. Chalet's like this big. It's like this big. And they couldn't corral the roamers on a map this big. Now you got bank is like, it's like this big. My hands are going to go off the screen with how big this map is in comparison. It's like 2 chalets. It's twice as big and a lot more areas and avenues back to the bomb site, a lot more flank opportunities, a lot more overall just real estate for the defense to work with. And momentum is a big thing, especially for these underage players on Wichita Wolves Academy. As soon as they start shooting, as soon as they start getting that aggression, as soon as they start getting that confidence, they can be incredibly difficult to stop. And starting off on the basement, locker, CCTV, bringing out the castle, I assume we're going to see a roam.
Right. That's what we're going to see the castle barricades for, right? You got those 4 panels to set up any sort of extension you would like, and especially all the way on this basement site. That is something we have come to expect especially when you're lurking around that office area, that archives, that tellers area, all of those viable areas to set up and roam if you've got some castle barricades to assist you. Not very easy to establish that roam if you don't have the protection of those barricades, and that is already why, we can see Spiff working his way up the stairs to go set that site up accordingly. But as well, you've also got ambient play with those Banshees, likely to put some of those Banshees on this extension as well, trying to assist whatever players are working their way around this top floor and lingering in an attempt to delay as much of that Judgment Day attack as they can. A lot of vertical control the attackers are going to need to secure here, given that hatch play is so important, especially when you are going for that push from the server and CCTV side of things, that security side where we see most attacks end up really approaching from. You've got to get some hatch pressure going. If not, then defenders are just going to be allowed to sit in that site and just be a serious nuisance in delaying that attack as much as they can.
Yeah, and that's why it's more perplexing that Jolton has swapped off the Habana and onto the Ace, the worst hard breacher at getting hatches. Sure, Arrow has the can openers, and I guess a lot of pressure is gonna be put on Lobin to get the hatches open, but if anybody remembers what Lobin was doing last game, he was killing everybody. You don't want him to be the one. Wow. Ashen, he gets punished for that peek as Riot's just going to swing around, take his head clean off his shoulders. But more than anything, you don't really want Lobin to have to be the player that's opening up hatches. You don't want him on support. He needs to be your fragger. He needs to focus on corralling roamers, on getting map control. And the swing from down below is going to be Asian challenging the vert. He's going to come out on top.
Well, Riot will get one denied from the second, but thankfully for Judgment Day, Bry is there to find the refrag. The LMG landing true through the floor holes below, taking down Asian, taking down one of these very important players on this extension. Loban will line up another. That one onto Spiff, removing completely any sort of vertical presence that Wichita Wolves Academy had. Actually, Ambi still lurking around for the time being, but he will sneak away just as Arrow rolls through the small office and looks to force him down. But Ambi actually will choose to get aggressive a little bit. He doesn't want to allow Judgment Day to get comfortable, wants to make sure that they have to stay on their toes. That's also going to kind of be Reed's job too. I mean, he's sitting at the top of blue stairs right now. He's probably not going to swing out because he knows that that will end in probably his death, but he is always a threat, right? If someone wants to get on that hatch, they've got to have a teammate staring at that doorway. That's Jolton's role right now, while Loban will actually cook a nade and send it that way. He'll take a bit of damage from the impact from Bry above, but with 45 seconds to go, Judgment Day have made a lot of progress. They've forced Wichita Wolves Academy back, but, well, they will lose Arrow to a good shot from Ambi, despite mounting an execute that is probably right around the corner. Wow.
Yeah, Ambi's just going absolutely crazy on these angles. The man advantage that Judgment Day fought so hard for, it has disappeared in the blink of an eye. There's a couple Toxic Babe canisters still left and can shut down this default plant. And Reed, he's got the lineups. He's got the right timing too. Jolton, he's going to have to push real deep, and he's stuck in a Malusi Banshee. Loban from up above is going to fall as Ambi just goes crazy. All four of those final kills, they go his way. Even without a Cade to deny hatches, the time that the roamers wasted, even though they didn't come out on top of the man advantage like we've seen so many times, as soon as you give any opening towards the Wichita Wolves Academy, especially on a defense, especially when they have players like Reed Singh and Ambi still alive on the bomb site, even Spiff, if he gets back there, they can make a play happen.
Unreal. 2v4 really did not look doable for Wichita Wolves, and yet they make it happen. I mean, Ambi, first of all, I mean, that's exactly how you play a situation like that. I mean, you're just frying people left and right. You've got the support from the smoke, you've got the time delay, you've got the damage, and you've got the Malusi Banshees set up and ready to go. That is a quad kill for Ambi. Asian, the only player to actually get a kill in that round from Wichita Wolves, other than Ambi, found it, earlier, playing on that extension, taking down Riot, who was challenging on those angles from above on that roam clear, but it really was a very impressive comeback in that round. This is something we've seen Ambi do several times. I believe he put up several of those clutches, in the grand final where they took down one shot, but that, again, still so impressive to see him pull it off successfully. No matter the experience of opponent you throw at him, Ambi doesn't seem to care. He'll swing you anyway, he'll win the fight anyway, and he'll clutch up the round anyway. So one round in Wichita Wolves Academy, they will defy any sort of attacker-sided expectations to start, and they will begin with a win, and now they will look towards getting themselves a second. Judgment Day, they've got to make some changes here. They've got to stay a bit more composed than that. You cannot be losing situations where you've got a two-man advantage so early in the round like that.
Yeah, it seems like just the same song, different tune, the exact same thing that we saw on Chalet. Even if the early round for Judgment Day looks pretty good, their transition has been completely shut down. Absolutely shut down by a player on Wichita Wolves Academy just stepping up at any moment. And there's so many players on Wichita Wolves Academy, you could almost name any of them on the side that can step up and have round-winning plays. Spiff down below right now on the pulse. He's giving out a whole lot of intel that there's going to be some shenanigans over towards the windows, as well as Loban just creeping his way inside of the lobby. Could find an angle on Ashen if he peeks out, but instead it might be Ashen just tapping away. Nope, Loban comes out on top. Both players with a 1.5. But the Brazilian import, he's going to get the last laugh as Bry's out on the repels. Could get jumped out on because the pulse is still alive. But everybody's just kind of staying a little bit more passive. Already a minute and 20 gone. Only person actually boots on the ground up top is Arrow. And Loban's still trying to make this lobby push solo on the knock.
His position, I mean, it is known because he took the fight with Ashen, who was just swinging him back and forth, trying to find that pixel angle through the stairwell. And, well, The position of the upstairs players seems to be known as well. Spiff not quite letting that nitro rip, and when he does, Arrow is on the other side of the wall. The C4 not finding any damage on towards the attackers, so Judgment Day will maintain that one-man advantage that, like you've said, Connor, they worked pretty hard to get early on with a sneaky play through the main lobby. Now, Bry, he'll get another kill. I mean, the vertical play has been working well for him so far as he takes the life of Spiff, but look at who's, still in play and still fragging out. It's Ambi, but as I say that, a double kill will be found from Loban, and the Nuck play will pay off. Again, this sneaky play creeping through main lobby will end up netting 2 kills. It's Reed and Asia now in a 2v4. Reed gets lit up. Again, the pressure from above has become a little bit too much for this defense to handle, and it's forced Wichita Wolves back into a corner. Asian, well, in the corner, he is, again, the most powerful, and he will get another kill. A 2v3. Reed trying to step up, establishing a little bit of a rotation if he needs it. He knows he only has to delay 10 more seconds, and he knows the attackers are going to have to funnel through a couple of choke points. He'll pre-fire one angle, but Loban will not be felled. Asian will now support him, look to light one up, but Jolton gets it anyway. Reed now, 1 second to deny. He'll take down one player. Jolton now getting the bomb down. Riot on the coverage, who will spray Reed down just in the nick of time. Judgment Day, it got messy in the end, but they'll take round 2.
Yeah, that was a scary one for sure, especially if Jolton lost that gunfight. That round is over, and it would have been an insane clutch from the side of Reed Sink. And this time for Judgment Day, their transition was a lot smoother. They had all their pieces, but they were able to use their pieces properly to find their way into the bomb site and win those first couple of engagements. That engagement over towards lobby, not necessarily the easiest gunfight to win for Loban, but he's going to win it nonetheless. Both of them tapping away, trying to get a one shot off a pixel angle, and it does go into their favor. And getting a lot of top floor control and a lot of kind of breath of relief towards players entering over on square of, hey, we can actually use white hallway without having to worry about a man just swinging us inside of E3 with a 1.5 tapping heads. Definitely allow Judgment Day to speed up their attack just a little bit, as well as having full lobby control instantly was applying just enough pressure on the other side that the Wichita Wolves Academy almost didn't know where to look.
That kind of pressure, I mean, it's exactly what Judgment Day have to keep doing. We saw them stay incredibly composed and disciplined on the top floor clear, and we've got to see them do that again, right? They took down every Wichita Wolves Academy defender who tried to get a little bit, too big for their britches, right? So maybe they got a little bit too aggressive. They tried to, bite off a little bit more than you can chew. However you want to phrase it, if Wichita Wolves Academy ever get slightly aggressive, Judgment Day need to have someone in place to punish it. We obviously saw the issue Judgment Day had doing that very thing in round 1, but in round 2, they were a lot more together. We saw maybe a cheeky play, trying a little bit of a couple of aggressive moves, especially, I think in round 1 it was from the Vigil as well. But in round 2, also, Wichita Wolves bringing that one out, and Judgment Day effectively removing that aggression and using the vertical play to their advantage. But now, we're going back to the same site. So technically, it's Wichita Wolves Academy who have to make some adjustments. Maybe that's better utilizing the utility and the intel from Spiff here, maybe getting aggressive off of Spiff's intel, or at least landing that C4, and just one thing here or there could seriously change the round.
Yeah, they were trying to ace a soft wall, which is a bit perplexing. But I guess you don't really need a whole lot of hard breach for this bomb site, especially not the way that Judgment Day took it, where they just kind of funneled in but still won the gunfights. Castle Barricade, it's going to get destroyed by the lifeline launcher of Bry, as top floor control is in their favor, besides Ashen inside of this elevator. They could swing him out and pinch him, but Ambi's going to be actually the first one to fall at the hands of Riot. Ashen can fall away, scared just enough by the bullets. As Asian, he's going to die to the skylight from Jolton holding the flanks. A good first round, an early round coming out of Judgment Day. Could only be made worse if a nitro comes up, and that's exactly what Spiff is going to do. Down goes Bry. No breaching charges, as well as down goes Jolton. No more hard support.
I mean, that is exactly the adjustment that Wichita Wolves Academy had to make. Spiff staying alive, using that intel, and using it with his team, providing the pings. You saw it. I mean, Reed had the ping directly onto Jolton. Bry was pinged. Spiff was ready. They took them down beautifully. It's still a 3v3 though, and you still have Loban. It seems like he's going unchecked right now, just creeping his way through this map, and it's unclear if Wichita Wolves know where he is lurking or know his intent of just working his way up the blue stairs. At this point, there isn't a ton of damage that Loban can really do because Wichita Wolves Academy, they're going to be on their toes. You've got 35 seconds to go in the round. Judgment Day are going to have to push this site eventually, and Wichita Wolves Academy should be trained on whatever entry points they think Loban is going to work his way in from. He'll get a good bit of damage onto Reed, but Spiff is there to provide some support, and Riot will follow as a result. But Spiff and Reed have both been lit up, and now Reed has been finished off. Arrow is the one to claim that kill. He'll now spray down the last one. It's going to be Ashen in a 1v2. He's got the UMP, and he's got 10 seconds to find something, and he will swing it at the corner, and he will get the job done. What a play from the castle. The UMP has not disappointed this Wichita Wolves Academy team. And Ashen will put up a fantastic performance in a 1v2 that should not have been allowed to happen.
No, not at all. In that position, in a 1v2, it's hard to ever pinpoint if you should go for the frag or if you should go for the plant. And essentially, as soon as the plant is going down, as soon as Loban starts tapping on that diffuser, it's a 1v1. And Arrow did not have a whole lot of HP to his name. And that's why the UMP was just able to one-tap him in the chest. And then you also have that weird gunfight of getting up from the diffuser and having to like readjust your mouse and all that stuff. And for Ambi, he didn't have to. He just swung out and went crazy. Absolutely massive. Anchoring play once again on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy. It's going to come out on top. The roam game, it was taken apart very, very quickly. But the biggest thing was the anchors on site going massive with the nitros, slowed down the attack just a bit, and then all the damage was done when that final swing came through.
Well, every round here that Wichita Wolves Academy are able to secure from this point forward is, honestly, Connor, you can just consider it a bit of a bonus, right? I mean, this is through and through an attacker-sided map. And Judgment Day have only secured one round at this point. Wichita Wolves Academy, they've got the 2 they need to consider the half a success, or at least, you know, that even 50-50 half, a push, a split, whatever you want to call it. They've done their job. And Judgment Day have not done theirs just yet. They need at least 3 rounds. Obviously, 4 is probably expected from them. And that means they're going to have to take the rest of these attacking rounds from here on out. They've got their work cut out for them right off the bat because they're headed right back down to Lockers, a site that this defense was able to take successfully last time, and a roam clear now. The Judgment Day will have to prove they've finally got down pat, right? You don't have the same extension in Wichita Wolves Academy anymore. We don't see them holding as firm of a position in archives, right? Where are the players there? Nobody is overly positioned and overly aggressive. Instead, they're holding a lot more passively, despite there only being 50 seconds off the clock, and they're waiting this time for Judgment Day to come to them.
Yeah, and another adjustment would be the fact that the Cade's being brought by Ambi. That removes all of Arrow's secondary utility, and it's going to make Loban have to open up all these hatches the good old-fashioned way. Ashen, he's still standing strong inside of the top blue staircase in a Rooney gate. Not really going to stop the nade bouncing below and taking out the shield. Still has a shotgun, still has the ability to be immune to the flashes as soon as those cool scanners, the cool glasses, they're just going to come off of cooldown. The hatch right next to him, it's being mabbed by Loban, like we said earlier. He's going to have to be the one removing those electric claws potentially, or to try to save gas, or even just remove a player down below through the holes. Jolton will get that first frag. Down goes Spiff. Down goes your server rack player, and Ashen is now on an island.
Yeah, Ashen, he knows he cannot swing that. There are 3 players watching that angle, at least 2 at any given moment. You've got somebody from the closet, you've got somebody from above. Riot, who was that player above, is now dropped down, but he is still going to be watching this angle. Instead, he'll actually now whip out the skeleton key and go for the swing in combination with Loban from below. Ashen didn't have a chance. It's now a 5v3. Judgment Day. They've done the roam clear. They've gotten the hatches open. They're applying all the vertical pressure they need. But where is Asian going? He has creeped his way up above. Now the question remains, do Judgment Day have any idea? The hatch now popped, and it has gone completely unnoticed. Bry has been taken care of. But Judgment Day now know that if they want to push the site, they'll push this in a 4v2. Asian will have to rotate back down, and he'll have to telegraph his position as he drops down the hatches. And with all of this pressure already on the site, Loban going to take down Ambi from behind. I mean, Asian's got to get back because he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He'll take down Arrow on his way. He'll find an angle onto Jolton. Actually, no, that was Reed on the Toxic Smokes to get the job done. This one is now turned back even into a 2v2. Now in a post plant, though. Loban in the middle of lockers here. Riot on the coverage from the other side. Asian, he'll swing. He'll get his quad kill. Now he only needs one more, and he's got to take down the Riot on the coverage here. He's backed off all the way into server behind the rack. Asian will go for the swing. Reed to assist him. They'll light him up. Riot will take down one, and now Asian has to step it up. He knows he's got to make a move, but Riot has backed all the way off into Dirt Tunnel. He's now waiting for the opportunity. Asian, he's going to tempt the stick, and Riot, he'll just flick perfectly onto the diffuser. Judgment Day take the round.
That was hectic and chaotic. A really nice shot by Riot at the very end. Loban, even though he didn't come out with another frag, I think he killed, I guess we could probably pretty comfortably say about 15 to 20 seconds of the counter diffuse timer. You know, that post plant time, which is so incredibly valuable, just running around inside of lockers. I can't even imagine the Wichita Wolves Academy comms of, hey guys, they're playing default. No, there's somebody in lockers, and they're just running around pre-fire and everything. And man, that was a hectic, very, very hectic round, to say the least. The beautiful timing on that pinch was wonderful towards blue, and as soon as that player of Spiff went down, you could kind of see it coming. The hatch gets open, you can drop, you can swing in unison towards blue, and nobody, I don't care how good you are, you can look two places at once, and the Warden was not long for the world. Now for Judgment Day, they are finally maybe getting a little bit of momentum on their attacks. Definitely looked a lot cleaner, even though they allowed Asian to pop off, but those frags did ultimately lay impactless. Now going to the top floor with the affinity towards window and top square of this Judgment Day attack could be where we see the attack come from.
One thing, Connor, that I think Judgment Day have done a fantastic job with, it's been that roam clear, right? It was something I highlighted and focused on in those first two rounds because it was a little bit iffy. It was iffy on Chalet, but they've got it down to the point where in that last round, we saw Wichita Wolves Academy just not even bother with the roam because Judgment Day have looked so good on that clear in the last few rounds. And yes, they didn't win one of those rounds that they looked so good on, but Bank does seem like a map where Judgment Day are a little bit more comfortable taking that map control. It is, you know, an open attacker-sided map after all, but Wichita Wolves Academy, they've been forced a little bit out of their own comfort zone because they haven't been able to play as freely on the roam as they would have liked. We saw those adjustments in the previous round. That telegraphs, you know, their thought process and exactly, you know, what they're thinking about this attack and how this attack has shifted over time here. And, I mean, already, it's off to a relatively good start. As I say that, though, Jolton gets tapped. That's going to be Reed, takes down the repelled player, but in the meantime, Riot will line up too. Where did Riot come from? He'll just step in. Is that on a repel? Is that downstairs? It was below. It was directly below. He just opens up some floor holes and gets two beautiful kills. That is a very good adjustment there. And honestly, the only thing really that could have saved Judgment Day at that point.
Yeah, this attack is not coming from square at all. It's all coming lobby-centric. Loban, he's going to fall at the hands of Reed, challenging that vert from above. I guess like anti-vert, if we want to say it that way. Ambi's still alive on the top of the marble stairs, has a Prisma to boot that he can swing off of that intel. And for the side of Judgment Day, they don't really have a whole lot to go off of. You lost your range breach. And if you want to rotate over towards square, it's going to be a little bit awkward, especially with how slow the secondary hard breach gadget of Arrow will deploy and how vulnerable he'll be having to physically place it. And then the fuse timer, it's so small, and then it's a vault breach. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination for Man Kisser Jolt to fall early.
Free fire there from Reed. Won't quite catch off the player on the other side of that wall. Two players, in fact, will be taking that position in top square, and they'll be looking to apply as much pressure as they can. But Riot, he'll be caught sprinting on the balcony up top, and Ambi on the swing from stock. That was not something that Riot expected. So now it is Arrow and Bry to bring something back, but as Arrow transitions to his camera, I think he'll get taken down. Perfectly timed swing from Reed. Unlucky there for Arrow, no doubt about that. And it's going to now all fall on the shoulders of Bry. The Zofia here, who is suspicious of somebody over in stock, has to get the diffuser and only has 13 seconds. Not looking so good for the Zofia. Bry will make the push straight into Ambi's waiting arms. So Wichita Wolves Academy, they will be more than happy to take round 5.
Yep, and they take the lead once again as the early round and that challenging avert and the awkward transition because they had to abandon their front side push without the hard breach of Jolton, which is not ideal from Judgment Day. Wichita Wolves Academy finding just the right gunfights to win to fully disrupt the attack. And just like on Chalet, attacks on Bank can really spiral for the attack, and they can get a lot of momentum, and it can be a gigantic boulder rushing down the mountain that's really hard to stop. But somehow, someway, Wichita Wolves Academy, they're finding ways to continually just punch the boulder and shatter it into a million pieces. Judgment Day, they can't really get a whole lot going. For Wichita Wolves Academy, you said it last round that their defensive round was complete. They had confirmed at least the 4-2 split for Judgment Day. And that's pretty dang good. Now we're getting a cherry on top and potentially the sprinkles and whipped cream and all the other wonderful toppings.
Here we are with Judgment Day really needing one more round. If they want to maintain their map 3 hopes as they head into the second half, right? Obviously, map 3 is potentially still a long way off, but in order to get there, Judgment Day need to be able to put down at least 3 rounds now on the defensive half, and it may look like 4 unless Wichita Wolves Academy falter in this final lockers attempt. Of course, last time they did falter. They did struggle a lot on the basement site because they didn't opt for that roam, and Judgment Day were able to apply a lot of site pressure earlier than Wichita Wolves Academy seemed prepared for. We highlighted the play from Ashen on the top of Blue Stairs, how he essentially got trapped there, and a fantastic double swing combination from Riot with the skeleton key in hand and Loban from below was enough to take the Warden down. So this time, Wichita Wolves Academy will be looking to remedy that, maybe applying a little bit more pressure on this roam. Not really. Everyone is still positioned downstairs, or at least on a staircase. I mean, you've got Ashen on the stairs, you've got Asian on the stairs looking to take down a couple of drones and challenge anything as Judgment Day enter the building, but that entry is going to be uncontested for the most part. Should only take them about 60 seconds to confirm that the entire top 2 floors are clear, and yeah, in just about that amount of time, they've got same angles open. They're going to begin to pressure Asian on the top of Blue Stairs. And while they haven't shot the default cam here, they are in a good position to get something going, and they are in a good position to get these hatches open as well.
Yeah, you can just wait for a drone to come in, easily deny that intel. As the rest of the burn is coming through, down goes his shield and his Aruni gate. Definitely a lot less safe than he was last time. And we saw Jolton win this gunfight through the hatch onto Spiff. Hopefully, for his sake, he's not going to be aggressively peeking this, because he should kind of try to deny the hatch drop as opposed to just the hatch being opened. If Loban is correct, he'll be able to just open up the hatch regardless. Not really a whole lot you can do with the Mav kind of knowing how to open up a hatch. I would hope for this sake in this level of play that he definitely does. Divert pressure, it has fallen off. Riot no longer holding that angle, but Ashen has no idea. He could swing and get aggressive because nobody's looking at it. But how in the world are you ever going to know that you can't swing that? He's just going to play passive. A drone coming in, shotgun comes out, down goes Riot, down goes Loban as well. You don't dry peek the Mossberg, and Ashen's going to show you why. 3 kills for the Warden. He's going absolutely massive.
I really do wonder if that default cam is still up there, boys. I mean, look at that intel. How did Ashen know that 3 players were swinging right on him? 1, the sound cue. 2, obviously, a couple of dead bodies around the corner. You expect the trade to come, but I mean, the intel from Wichita Wolves Academy is clearly there, and he knew as well. He knew somebody was coming. He had to
got an
swing.
ace with that shotgun. Bry ate that.
Oh my lord! Almost had the ace. Almost had 5 kills on the stairs. taking down Arrow, but Bryce surviving. 13 seconds, though, and doesn't matter what shenanigans occurred on the blue stairwell because Judgment Day have to pull out a miracle here. They'll drop straight into the smoke. Asian will fry the first, and Ambi will fry the second. A very clean round for Wichita Wolves Academy because Judgment Day throw away all of their lives on the blue stairs push, didn't take out a default cam, didn't do their due diligence, and they paid the ultimate price.
Yep, a 4-2 split. The other way, the way that you wouldn't expect. And that was an attacking half the Judgment Day chose to go for. Obviously not as comfortable on their defensive setups. And right here, when we see this second, we don't get to see. I don't know how the Zofia just ate an entire barrel of a shotgun to the chest. That, by all metrics, in my eyes, should have been an ace for the Warden.
Yeah.
And he was looking suave while doing it. No, nice and dapper. Full suit and tie. Stylish man. Doing massive amounts of murder on a staircase.
I mean, it's a position we talked about in the previous round and then highlighted in that second Locker's attempt for a very specific reason. It is often one of the most important positions for the attackers to clear out if they want to have any shot of pushing from the server side. They knew it both times. Judgment Day clearly knew it. They dealt with him perfectly the first time, getting Loban down below once that hatch was open and the control had been secured, taking down the player on the stairs with a brilliant double swing. But all of that wonderful discipline and all that control, I mean, it just goes out the window. They send 3 bodies this time at a doorway with a shotgun. The utility game, I just guess, wasn't there as much. Maybe they didn't have any more frag grenades to use. Maybe they didn't have the intel. Whatever the case may be, that is a mistake that you're really going to want back if you're Judgment Day, something that you will certainly be reviewing when you take a look at this VOD. And
I think for flashes, you're sure you can say, oh, it's a Warden. You can't flash a Warden. Still has to take his hand off his gun to activate those glasses.
Yeah.
Could have swung off of that. Anything other than just dry peeking a shotgun.
3 times in a row.
Yep.
Either way, we're now in the second half, right, Connor? I mean, we now can see Judgment Day and how they want to pull out things on their defense. I suspect we're going to see some ridiculous aggression. We've got Loban on the Oryx after all. Definitely an operator that is reserved for a map like Bank with all of the hatches available and the sheer size of the map that this is. And you've also got Arrow on the Mozzie, clearly hunting for kills. They want to get aggressive. They want to just kind of throw reason out the window and just play for gunfights. And right now it's working. Loban will get the kill he needed, and now he can fall back. Arrow is still in play. And Loban, as he tried to fall back, did get cut down, and that means that Arrow should probably start to back on off because he knows the attacking pressure is now building.
Yep, and he has fallen all the way off, trying to use this drone that he gained during the prep phase, and it's hidden under the cart of E2. I don't see any stretch, any kind of way that Wichita Wolves Academy will find that cam. It's going to be a lot of intel over towards beepers, and eventually, if a main push comes out, it will be completely sniffed by the Judgment Day defense. A similar setup, different operator on these blue stairs. We've already seen what the same gun can do. Ashton, he's coming in. He's just going to destroy the ADS. Is all 3? Nope. He only manages to get 2, but that's a whole lot less burn that the attackers have to go for. However, time can be burned by these toxic babe canisters if Jolton plays his cards right.
There's the first. That'll go off right at that doorway, so nobody from Wichita Wolves on this attack will be able to push that door just yet. There's the second. Time is ticking away. 45 seconds remain, but a great shot from Ambi. Leave on the hatch from above. Yes, the hatch here in open area will take the life of Riot. That's 2 kills now found for this Wichita Wolves Academy attack. You have lost Asian in the process. Again, that was on that early entry, but it is still a mounting attacking pressure that Judgment Day will certainly have to find a way to quell. You do have a C4 in Arrow's pocket, and he'll throw that one out, but he is on the top floor right now. Ashen has been downed, but Arrow has to get back to the site to provide support if he can. Jolton, though, catches one out, but Reed and Ambi, they'll go 1 for 1 each. Arrow up above will secure a double kill. He'll almost be able to deny the plant, but Reed will slip away and move into lockers deeper, and there comes Spiff. He's providing the coverage. He knows there's somebody coming up from above, and he will take him down. Wichita Wolves Academy, they're off to a good start.
Yeah, they're off to a really great start. And I liked the read to push all the way through the bomb site because doing some quick math, and it's like, hey guys, there's a roamer that was spotted out on the zero cams all the way on the top floor. Let's use our man advantage and push all the way into a safer plant spot. We can take these gunfights on Jolton. He's still getting warmed up. He hasn't played comp since stage 2 of CL. And a whole stage of that and a whole stage of SCS that he wasn't involved in. Let's make the Rusty Man have a not so warm welcome. Let's push through. And their first attack on probably the hardest bomb site to attack is successful. And for the side of Judgment Day, they're going to switch things up. They're going to swap to staff room open area. I'm interested to see if the zero cams once again provide a good amount of intel for the side of the Wichita Wolves Academy attack. The late flank from Arrow was completely sniffed out and played properly around for the attackers. And now with a lot less roam potential, you know, we don't see an Oryx on the side of Loban. Could still hold a power position upstairs or even fall off and try to use the Nitro, which there are 3 of on the side of Judgment Day, as well as 2 bulletproofs and the cardiac sensor. A lot of intel to act on.
It's tough here for Judgment Day, and, you know, trying to figure out exactly how they want to play this defense and how they want to structure their holds, you know, as a whole. I mean, we saw the thought process in the previous round. It was to play insanely aggressive, and while it may have worked initially, the problem with an aggressive roam like that is your on-site hold, the utility devoted to actually locking down the objective, it can often be a little bit lackluster or maybe just a little bit thin. We saw the problem with Arrow being off-site. He was able to come up from behind and get a couple of kills, but because you had already lost Loban, the Oryx, who doesn't have any primary utility to help out on the bomb site anyway, and because Arrow with a C4, the last C4 remaining at that point to deny the plant because he was off-site as well, I mean, that aggression, while successful initially, it caught Judgment Day out in the end, and Wichita Wolves Academy did a great job of taking advantage of that. Here in round 8, Judgment Day, they aren't going for the same style like you said, Connor. There's no more Oryx. Loban is playing a bit more passively, a bit more disciplined as the mute. You still have Arrow, who could be running around and hunting for kills, and even though he's on the mute, doesn't mean he's not going to be fragging out. There goes Loban. He'll get the opener yet again.
Yep, and Jolton is rotated over to Archives, trying to find if there's a player on Rappel. It seems like Ashen has an idea from a drone that this player is in this extended position, could get aggressive and try to take him through tellers, or just kind of corral them over inside a lobby and make sure that there's no funny rotations coming through. A Nitro, it's narrowly going to miss the body of Ambi. Jolton wasting that C4 could prove to be quite problematic. But still, like we said earlier, Arrow as well as Loban, they have them. And Loban's upstairs taking gunfights and swinging aggressively on top of a table, switching up his headshot lineup, making it more difficult to take him out. As Arrow's trying to deny any pressure of the window swinging. They got right past it. Everybody's going to line up. Ashen will take out Jolton down below. And Loban falls at the hands of Reed, who's now dropped into the bomb site and taken all of that control. The plant can come out. Everybody on Wichita Wolves Academy, they're in that close corner. Spiff's kind of walking off from the rest of the boys, but more kills going into the favor of Wichita Wolves Academy. It's just Arrow left.
Yeah, Riot's got to win those engagements, and Arrow, I mean, he's already in too bad of a position. Can't do much regardless. Could not find those remaining 3 players in that post-plant. Spiff is the one to deal that fatal blow, but another great round from Wichita Wolves Academy, and another round where it just seemed that Judgment Day are being outclassed, outplayed, and, you know, simply outgunned at every turn. Wichita Wolves, they are the better team tonight, and they proved it on Chalet, and they are showing us here on Bank that, you know, it's the same story. Even on a map that, you know, could lend itself to that attacking style that is generally attacker-sided, Judgment Day couldn't pull it off there, and now when they're on the defensive side, they need 4 rounds total. Now they need 4 rounds in a row. It is looking less and less likely by the minute. That doesn't mean that their time in SCS is over. They still have that elimination game coming up next. If the, you know, verdict here is what it appears to be, they'll have to go against Achieve next in Wichita Wolves Academy, going against Dallas Vendetta. But certainly, Judgment Day, if they want to have any shot of, you know, winning this series, they've got their work cut out for them. They need 4 rounds in a row. They need another series, another map rather. And they just haven't shown us that they can consistently just chain together rounds, that they have not indeed found that formula for success against Wichita Wolves Academy. Connor, we hinted at that coming into Bank. Maybe Judgment Day finally understand what they're going up against. But it seems that whatever understanding they may have gained from Chalet, it is not enough to get them the round wins that they so desperately need.
Yeah, it just seems like nothing is going their way, and Wichita Wolves Academy aren't really giving them a whole lot of room to work with, whether it be on the attack, whether it be on the defense. Judgment Day, I hate to say it, but they might just be outclassed. This might be outclassed on both of these maps, because I would argue Wichita Wolves Academy, one of their stronger maps is Chalet, and that got picked for them. And then they have Bank, which is their pick against a Pug Stack who probably isn't that comfortable on this map and definitely has not looked comfortable at all in any of these rounds. Ashen, he's entering in from lobby once again as a slightly different bomb site is coming out for the side of the Judgment Day defenders. This time the stock hatch, it's not as important. It's not a full pathway into the bomb site, which was actually, I don't even want to gloss over the fact that when Wichita Wolves Academy barely got control of it, they immediately dropped into the site and flooded at perfect timing. Really impressive attack. Hopefully they can kind of repair and kind of replicate for a slightly different bomb site.
Oh, there's Spiff taking the head of Loban, who just, again, bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Arrow will take a fight worthy of his skill, but in the meantime, Ashen will take down Jolton as well, who just has not been allowed to heat up. Ashen gets another. Ambi goes for one, and Bry catches out one from behind. He will win the fight against Asian, but Spiff is in perfect position to find the trade. The GGs come out because that is all she wrote. A 7-2, 7-2, a two-map dominant series for Wichita Wolves Academy. They will take down Judgment Day in as quick as we've seen in a while.
Yeah, that was just as interesting of a flood. That this time it was just, and there was no pushback at all in lobby, and Ashen just walked in and killed a lot of people and got a lot of map control instantly. Wichita Wolves Academy, they're on a big map. They can just run free, and they can even run free on their attacks. As soon as they get the map control that they want, they'll just push. They'll execute at any moment. Judgment Day, they could never find that timing. They could never feel comfortable at any moment, and definitely did not look good.
Yeah, not the opening performance that Judgment Day were hoping for at all. 4 rounds over the course of a 2-map series. I mean, it started off with, tough round on Chalet. Tough game on Chalet. They just never got into the rhythm that they needed. You transition over to Bank, and the story was the same. We saw several flashy plays from both teams. We saw Loban, I think he chained together quad kills over on Chalet. That's how they won both of those rounds. But aside from that, it was the dominance of Wichita Wolves Academy, which shone through. I mean, yeah, we saw some flashy plays from them. We saw Reed, Ambi, Asian. I mean, everyone on the team, I feel like they had a moment. Literally all of them had a couple of clips, and that is exactly what we've come to expect from this roster. They've got so much depth. They play so well together. And if somebody's not stepping up, like we saw in that grand final, several weeks ago, I mean, it doesn't matter. Somebody fills those shoes perfectly. They're a really good team. And it sucks for Judgment Day that they had to go up against such a formidable opponent in their very first SCS game. But props to Wichita Wolves Academy for, despite the new banner, the Wichita Wolves org now, it doesn't matter. They've still got it with them. They are still playing like the champions of SCS that we know them to be.
Exactly. I mean, not a whole lot you can really take away of the negative side for Wichita Wolves Academy's game. I mean, oh no, they dropped 4 rounds. Oh no, they dropped 4 rounds against CL players. Oh no. They played really well. Like you said, every single player on their team, on their roster, they had a moment, and that's exactly what you want. That at any given time, any point in the round, whether it be the early round, the mid round, the late round, there's somebody on the side of the Wichita Wolves Academy that can step up. They can go absolutely massive. They can swing around, take it away, rounds that you really shouldn't win.
I mean, here it is. You can see all the numbers we've praised Wichita Wolves Academy for so far tonight. You can see him here in front of you. This time it was Ambi at the top instead of Reed, who was at the top of Chalet. Is Ambi with the 1.6 plus rating, a 1.63, 12-4, +8 on the KD. Entry-wise, this map it was a little bit Judgment Day, who outshine Wichita Wolves Academy here and there. It was Loban who went 3-1 +2 on the entry, Riot who went 2-1 +1 on the entry as well. But as a whole, you look at who's contributing, you look at the numbers they are putting up, it is Wichita Wolves Academy spreading the love a little bit more, Connor.
Yeah, and just that's how it was. Riot stepped up on the second map, Loban stepped up on the first map for Judgment Day, but none of them stepped up to even the same level as any of the Wichita Wolves Academy players.
Yeah, simple as that. We'll actually get a chance to talk with one of them now. We'll talk with Ambi, and we'll pull up a quick interview and see exactly what this man has to say about this matchup. Ambi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, I mean, first of all, congratulations on a swift victory. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel great. I feel great.
Good. Good to hear as always. Couple of questions, because obviously you made the game short. I'll make this short as well. You head to Bank, you head to Chalet. First of all, thanks for the maps. We love these maps. Didn't give us any Oregons, any nonsense like that.
Yeah,
but talk to me about your motivation going towards Bank. Did you guys become just an incredible Bank team over the last few weeks between, the grand final and now? Or was that in part motivated by the fact that your opponents are a pug stack, they may not have composed Bank strats?
We've been scrimming Bank a little bit. I'll say that. We've been working on it, and we felt confident that it's a pug stack too. And Bank is, kind of not really structured, not that. But I feel like we could beat them on Bank, so yeah, we did pick it. And we thought we were very confident on it. Yeah,
you guys certainly look confident. I know you put up a play or two here and this, and some nice flashy plays. Talk to me about, as you guys took this one rather quickly, talk to me about SCS, this split as a whole. Obviously, like you said, you guys have been scrimming a lot, putting in some work. What do you expect that this stage has in store for you?
We're trying to win it again. We don't really care that we won the last stage. Obviously we made the pyramids a lot, but we're trying to win it again. Not playing just to lose.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you about Chalet a little bit. You come out and you choose the defensive side, and you just kind of roll through Judgment Day. Is defense kind of your preferred half on Chalet now, or you guys just decide to go on a whim tonight?
I don't know. We just played really good. We have a thing, we have it called it a 5-1 curse, because last season we went up 5-1 on attack and defense, and we choked it. We ended up winning both times. But hey, we closed it out. We went up 5-1 and we closed it out.
Well, I'll give you a chance to say anything else here before we end this interview here. Quick game. Anything to say about looking forward to the rest of your opponents here in SCS?
Wait, we play IF, right? Or DV? Yeah,
DV.
That's gonna be a great one. It's gonna be a great one. I'll say that.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Ambi. Hopefully I'll see you then. But until then, have a great night.
Yep. Shout out Wichita Wolves.
Awesome. Well, Connor, he was pretty confident, as was the entire team when they played. Deservedly so. They played
everybody
well.
Went positive.
Yeah, everybody went positive. Look at that.
And everybody except Loban went negative for Judgment Day. It's rough. It's rough indeed. Yeah.
Strong performance from Wichita Wolves Academy, and Judgment Day did not quite hit all the points that they were hoping to hit on their SCS debut. Two players actually sub 0.5 rating, which is less than ideal. Jolton and Bry not putting up numbers. Jolton, sticking to that hard support pretty consistently, going that support on the attack, the hard breach, the smoke on the defense as his most common pick. And as we saw, it was Loban who we did expect probably to see this in the stat line, because we saw the way he was playing, probably playing with the most confidence and had the most flashy plays on the side of Judgment Day. But between all of that, between his 17 kills he was able to find, again, only 4 rounds were they able to secure as a whole. Here's your picture now for Group A after this series has concluded. Again, it will be Wichita Wolves Academy moving to the winner's game against Dallas Vendetta, who also took down Achieve Esports rather quickly. So Achieve down in the elimination game against Judgment Day. The loser of that, of course, that would be their second loss. And in the group stage, you lose twice, you are done for. So you will not have that opportunity to move on through to the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs, that's where you can earn that Pro-Am spot. And if you get knocked out, you got to wait for that final last chance qualifier. And Jonah, that's not a very comfortable position to be in.
No.
Do you know what is comfortable? I'm sure you know.
I do. Mavericks gaming chair, baby.
Yes, they are. Critical ergonomics. $22 a month. That's pretty cheap. All you gotta do is just not order Uber Eats for a month, and boom, you can get a wonderful, wonderful gaming chair. They are the exclusive gaming chair providers for NerdStreet, and we are very happy to have them on our team because those chairs are really nice. You can also get a mod on it to make it have air conditioning or heating, and that is just crazy, like mind-blowing to me. Like, I feel like we're truly in the future.
Yeah, when my seat is actively cooling me, when I'm just sweating it up in the gamer chair. Yeah, no kidding. That could definitely be a good little gizmo to have.
A little game changer.
Game changer, nice. Very good. Many thanks, of course, to Mavix for being our wonderful sponsor here. And as we wrap up our first series, we look towards our second series of the night. It is Team Mystic, of course, the newly revised Team Mystic. No longer that T3 shenanigan team of old. It is now Two-Faced taking up the mantle of Team Mystic. They'll be going up against Chess Club, another team who just entered SCS through the most recent qualifier. We will have that series in just a few minutes, but before then, we're going to send it to a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more SCS action.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and Hill got it!
Have to push for the kill. You have to kill the Maluski.
Transfers on one.